Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the PLA podcast. I have an incredible guest here today that I have been looking forward to interviewing since I had the immense pleasure of meeting him in person in Dallas at our in-person event not so long ago. Rama, Golla, welcome to the PLA podcast. It's such a treat to have you on today.
Thank you, Dunia. I'm really excited for this podcast, and let's rock on.
Absolutely. I would love to formally introduce you to our audience because they haven't had the absolute privilege of getting to know you like we have at PLA. So I just wanted to run them through. Meet Rama Golla, born and raised in a small farming village. He grew up surrounded by hard work, community spirit, and deep family values. Early on, he spent time helping his uncle run a shop, an experience that taught him responsibility, teamwork, and the importance of showing up for others. A naturally curious and people oriented person, he finds energy and inspiration through connection and community, learning from others' experiences and perspectives. After earning his BTech, he began his journey as a software engineer and has since grown into a data engineering team lead, helping businesses unlock the power of data driven decision making. With experience spanning sales, FMCG, healthcare, instrumentalization, and HR data, he brings a broad and practical perspective to every challenge. Passionate about problem solving and mentorship, Rama is driven by purpose to give back using his knowledge to help both people and organizations grow. His story is one of humility, learning, and service, a reminder that leadership begins with community and that data, when used with heart, can create real human impact. Rama, welcome to the PLA podcast once again.
Thank you, Dunia, for wonderful introduction.
It's an absolute treat to have you on today. I would love, for us to go back to the very start of your career and for you to run us through where it all really began.
Um, um, I actually born and brought up in a small village where every human being is actually tagged with names, irrespective of what they are, what kind of work they do. So every family member, every person in that village is a relation. We call by uncle or some other means. We always treat every human being is really, really, really valid, and we value that relations. And from there on, actually, my father is actually a farmer. He always cultivated or gave me a seed that my son is going to be an a software engineer, and that made me, from my childhood. Even I don't know what does that mean, but at the age of 10 years, but that actually imbibed me into me, and then
Mm,
I worked towards that goal.
beautiful.
uh, every year I had that pressure that if I don't uh, do well in my grades, that may affect my career. So that strength was there. Okay, my father is actually doing a lot of hard work in farmlands. I have to support them by having a very good education,
Mm,
along with the more uh, ethics around us, uh, finding the right people
mm.
around us, and in which helps to grow in my career.
That's amazing. I got so emotional and I can't even tell you why when you shared with me that your father from a young age would be whispering in your ear that you're going to become a software engineer and that you end up going to pursue this dream. There's some kind of overwhelming. I felt so touched by this. In some ways you got to live out your father's dream of what he had hoped for you, and it's so beautiful and so touching, from his own experience in farming to you going and growing in tech in this incredible career. I think you bring up a really important point too that I just wanted to touch on, and it's the importance of people and recognizing them as human beings, as contributors to society, as contributors in the community, and feeling that deep sense of relation between each and every individual is so touching, and really a testament to your values and your love for people that followed you throughout the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's really, I we still have those values. Even, we move from when I talk about the phases of my life, right, from village to a town where I have to finish my plus two, and then to a different town to finish my BTech, and then to work in cities or metropolitan cities, and then to a different country. Those values and ethics and morals is still stays with me, and still following it.
That's beautiful. It shows that you live a true and authentic life, and those values weren't chosen for anybody else, but they were truly speaking to your heart, and that you continue to live by them today is such a testament to who you are as a person, Rama.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd want to know, if someone had given you a piece of advice at the very beginning of your career, knowing everything that you know now, what do you wish it was?
If I could go back to the beginning of my career and give myself one piece of advice, it would be this: small habits practiced consistently shape who you become, both professionally and personally.
Mm, I
When
love.
I when I started out, I believed success came from big efforts or big moments. But now I know it's the small things we do every single day that truly defines our growth.
It's so true. We oftentimes get distracted by those big power moves, those big decisions, those big steps. And you're so right. It's actually the major difference that is made along the journey is the small, consistent, repeatable steps and actions that we make every single day that make the greatest of differences.
Yes.
Wow.
So overall, if I say focus on small, just do have a consistent habits, probably half an hour or 1 hour of learning a day, and deep awareness of how your body and mind works together. Over time, these small steps creates lasting change, not
Mm.
just in what you achieve, but in who you became.
Oh, so good. This came up very recently in another PLA podcast. I love that this theme is coming up again, where actually those small, consistent decisions and actions lead to an identity change. And that identity change is far more sustainable over time, like you mentioned, rather than these big decisions that are not as sustainable day to day over time.
Yeah.
Incredible. Rama, I'd be curious, so many times on social media, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook or these other platforms, we often say there's the highlight reel, everything, the accomplishment, the awards, the good times. And the reality is that it's not a true depiction of real life continuously. It's a depiction of certain moments, absolutely. But, so many people have been through, especially major challenges with the major changes that we're seeing in the industries with the disruption of AI, really. I'd be curious to know what were the biggest challenges of your career and how did you grow from them?
When I reflect on my career so far, I've faced many challenges, tight deadlines, changing priorities, and complex projects. But if I had to pick the greatest challenge, it would be understanding the people.
Oh.
Every human being is unique with different motivations, emotions, strengths, and the ways of working. Learning how truly
Mm.
understand and connect with each person has been both the most challenging and the most rewarding part of my journey.
Wow. That is something we haven't heard on the PLA podcast yet. And I think you're right. It is so true and relatable. It is the most complex part of life and work, really, is truly understanding human beings and
Yeah.
through that individuality that everyone brings to the table. And I love that you share that it has been your greatest challenge and your greatest reward. Can you tell us more about this? Because I feel like this is such a rich topic that we haven't yet explored and so many people get a lot more value out of exploring it further.
If I take a few examples in my career, when I joined initially in my IT job as a software engineer, one of my leader has given me an example saying, Rama, if you are working in an IT industry, never say no to learn a new technology. So that
Yeah.
is actually a path forward will build you, will add more technical tech stack into your career bag. It's
Mhm.
like one person, right? The same way in every project, I had seen different varieties of people, managers. The one leader actually talks about a technology, another leader talks about the personality, how we need to behave, how to keep our emotions intact at
Wow.
any situation. So I always learn from the people around me.
Beautiful. I love this. And you know, what I love about this conversation is it's making me go back through all of the different projects I worked on and realizing that the leads of each project gave a flavor and a perspective and a style to each project. And it was so different depending on what that particular leader valued or prioritized in their own reality, in their own work, and how they saw things, their perspective, their biases. And it's so true. We must learn to adapt depending on the people we're working with. And when we make decisions based on the ecosystem, on the entire team, then we can actually have the best results. But those decisions, the way we show up as an individual, as part of a team, is going to change depending on the team, depending on the project. And I'm blown away. I'm loving this conversation.
Thank you. Uh, and also, I always realize the importance of understanding people.
Yeah.
So, as I said early in my career, I focused mainly on tasks, getting the job done, meeting goals, delivering results. But over time, I realized that success does not just depend on what we do, right? But on how well we work with others.
Yeah.
Each individual has their own way of thinking, communicating, and reacting. That that motivates one person may not actually motivating the another, right? So some people value recognition, others value trust or autonomy or respect.
Yeah.
So so I always learn from each and every person whom I meet.
Yeah. What I like, Rama, about this is so many people in this moment, I'm sure listening to the recording, are thinking this is probably one of the most obvious points, but the most difficult to implement.
Yeah, truly.
So I'm like, maybe let's invite our audience today to take a look at how can they show up as better leaders, as better team players in their projects, in their organizations today. I would invite even everyone to pause this recording and write that question down, because you're bringing such an important point. It's that piece around our responsibility as part of the team, as as individual contributors. How can we in some way show up to the best of our abilities for the best results possible for everyone involved? And that is going to change depending on who we're working with and what we're working on.
Yeah, truly. So always learning from others is a challenge, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
So I started spending more time listening before responding, trying to see situations from others' perspectives. I learned to ask open questions instead of making quick assumptions. And
Mm,
most importantly, right, I realized that building trust is the foundation of any stronger team. It could be a team in personal, professional, or social. Right, that strong team is actually really, really required for our career growth.
beautiful. There's so much value in your share right now. I'd love to just take us on a little bit of a different path with all of this change that we've seen, especially with AI. I would love to get your perspective, especially as someone who is in tech but has such a strong understanding and such a strong appreciation for people. I'd love to get your perspective on AI and how you see it, really, your experience with it.
So for me, I'll just answer in two sentences. You now the world has become very small. Okay, in every phone you have hundreds of Einsteins with you.
Oof.
How you wanna leverage and build the nation and use that for any perspective, right? Anywhere in the world, whether it could be in a technical world, either it could be in your day-to-day activities, everywhere. That one Einstein sitting in your phone will help you, will solve your problems.
Wow. So I love these three elements of your share. One is the world has gotten more, every time we think the world's getting smaller, it gets smaller by the day. So the world is getting smaller. We have an Einstein at our disposal at all times. How, and the third piece, the most important piece is how are we choosing to leverage it? And this is a big question for a lot of people because a lot of people are leveraging it very differently one from the other.
Uh, so the technology, when any technology bringing into ecospace, right, in our human being ecospace, there could be two sides of the coin, right? How we actually use that uh, in a are we actually leveraging that for a good cause, or are we leveraging that for a bad cause is
Mm,
really, really important. And when it comes to our job, right? So, going forward, I think, I have actually a person sitting next to me, and they're going to work for me.
mm,
I will just, give my ideas.
yeah.
Even to generate ideas also, I don't need to spend too much time. So
Mm,
that Einstein sitting in my phone or laptop will solve each and every problem, and also it actually we can it can improve the productivity each hour we spend.
mm,
That is what I can see in both
yeah.
perspectives. How you want to leverage is based on the individual.
Mm. And you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of how we are choosing to leverage it is dependent on the individual and that individual's values. And it just makes me think of the beginning of our conversation. What are your core values as an individual and as a user of AI, which is going to determine the results you're going to get out of this use, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Rama, I am curious, as someone like you that has an incredible heart and so much intention with every decision you make and the things you work on, at least from my perspective, truly. I'm very curious to know what is the legacy and impact you're still looking forward to leave behind in this world?
Mm, I would say when I think about the legacy I would like to leave behind, it's very simple. I wanted to be remembered as someone who connected with people, learned from them, and empower them to think differently and believe in themselves.
Mm.
It's not about how many things I have done, it's about how many people I have touched.
Ooh, I think this is a mic drop moment. It's not about how many things I have done, but how many people I have touched. If I were to title this entire podcast, this would be the title of the podcast today, Rama.
Thank you.
Incredible. And it's such a testament to who you are and what you value truly. It's truly beautiful, beautifully said, beautifully put, and a beautiful reflection of who you are and what you value. I know we've been part of the PLA community together for many months now. We've had the privilege of meeting through PLA. I'd love to understand what originally drew you to PLA.
Um, as a as I was working as a manager in data engineering space, I thought, I have to take my communication into a different level, which makes me, or it takes me into different levels in my career.
Mm,
So one of my sister-in-law actually saw this Vamsi posting so many things, right? And I just clicked on that, and when I look at, oh, this is what I need,
mm,
because in this PLA we have right proximity,
yeah.
and and this proximity, right? See how we think, how I actually grown up. depends on the proximity. Right now, I am here sitting now. If I
Right.
have the people who can think even 10
Mm,
times better than me, right? That comes with proximity. So that is there in PLA. And also, this PLA made me completely a different person. Like I I I would say, in one of the uh, book, that is the magic of thinking big,
mm,
right?
mm,
So instead of thinking, just act.
mm.
If you act right, it will actually erase all the fears which is there in your baggage. And
Wow.
also with my overall experience, I always believe that every problem in this universe have a solution.
Mm.
When you realize that, you don't need to think too much. You start working on it.
Wow. Wow. I think it takes a tremendous amount of humility, creativity, and open mindedness to realize that technical skills will only get you that far in your career. And really, communication, which is not always something that people take into consideration when they're in a highly technical field, that communication is really what will take them to the next level. The power of proximity, you're absolutely right. This is instrumental really to who we become as people. And with that proximity comes influence, comes, shared values, change, exposure to new perspectives, ideas, and will fast track one's growth and transformation. And so, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in the PLA community, truly. And it's been amazing to see you grow. It was incredible to meet you. And I wanted to put out, in case someone is curious and is like, what is PLA? And what is this wild community of individuals that are so, so committed to growth and transformation? I will put a QR code on the screen. This is the QR code to the next free training. I say the 90, if not 95% of our PLA community have been to the free training. There is so much value provided in this space, even if you just attend the training itself. So just to not hold back from anyone out there that is feeling called to the next level of their life and is looking for very practical and efficient tools to support them through that transformation and growth. I'm just putting this out there. You'll find the dates and details here right at the QR code. So I just wanted to leave that there. Rama,
Yeah.
any closing words for our audience or anything else that you wanted to share? I just wanted to leave you the space.
Yeah. So this PLA made me at least two, three different uh, lens to think through. One is like I was not a person actually to wake up early. I was a person that always wakes up at 7 a.m. Now after joining PLA, I'm actually waking up at 5 a.m. I'm actually spending what needs to be done on a given day in first 2 hours before the world actually wake up. And in the PLA, the way how our Brandon does that communication gym, man, it's awesome. They, I think we are gonna rule this. The way how we actually improve, change our communication, and with the proximity, with the kind of book clubs we have, with the kind of technology groups we have, definitely it's going to be a, for me at least, right, it's gonna change at least from 1x to 10x.
Wow, I love it. And it's so true. There's so many tools and opportunities in PLA that are very helpful and enriching in our experience and journey. And they will 10x. I have zero doubt. I've seen so many 10x transformations, including yourself, through the PLA community. And it's been an absolute pleasure and gift. Thank you, Rama, for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the PLA podcast, truly.
Thank you, Dunia. So you are one of our inspirational leader in PLA. Thank you a lot having me here talking about this. It feels really, really, so happy and uh, so great to
Oh,
have you with us.
yeah. What a treat, Rama. Seriously, I'm so excited to have you hopefully on once again the PLA podcast as one of our guests. It was an incredibly enriching conversation and just so reflective of your values and the beautiful gift you bring to this world. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom, your insights, and truly looking forward to having you on again.
Thank you, Dunya. Have a great day.
Have a beautiful day, everyone, and we will catch you all for the next PLA podcast episode.
Thank you. Yep.